Have we just seen the start of the Bitcoin bear market? This is a video that I need to be sharing with you. It is of high most importance, probably the most important video I have ever done. We're going to be talking about the start of the Bitcoin bear market. Not only when, but why we will be seeing these moves and the reasons how the market moves. Truly, you are going to see knowledge and insight shared in this video that you are simply never going to see anywhere else. I am a trader that publicly called this drop. I have a short from $126,000 Bitcoin. I was shorting altcoins prior to this drop. And this is not for me to brag and hold up look at me side. I know that if you listen carefully, I can absolutely help you. That is my promise to you in this video. You will walk away thinking, wow, that was a video. That was a great video. You are going to learn so much. So this is going to be a bit of a longer video than normal, but each and every minute is going to be just packed with alpha information and truly great trading insights. That I truly do promise you that one. And of course, we're going to be going through something extremely important, which is the start of a Bitcoin bear market. And just for context here, so we understand what's been going on. When you look across at your commodity market, look at silver, look at gold, extreme strength, right? You are seeing massive new all-time highs on those markets. When you, of course, look at the stock market too. Again, I've been also talking about the stock market as the only up market. Every day it's just buying more, and every day we're seeing new all-time highs. That was extremely strong market. Bitcoin itself actually definitely lagging behind. It didn't have the strength that your commodities and your stocks had. But nevertheless, when you look at the altcoins over the recent, take the last 6 months, right? Lots of them are doing several 100% gains. And that's the majors. Look at Solana, look at Ethereum, right? They were up strongly and heavily, much like your commodities. Bitcoin lagging behind, but Bitcoin was at this key zone of resistance. So, just a reminder that everything, right, has been recently just so strong. A pullback was due, and now we have to decipher, is this just a pullback of the bull trend, or is it the start of the Bitcoin bear market? And I will give you my honest and transparent opinion and trades on this topic. So without further said or do, we're going to pick up where I left off my last YouTube video, which, if you can't tell already by the lighting that we got going on here, chart champions have been nothing short of extremely bearish. We're picking up where I left off my last video, which was literally titled Market Crash to Come. So I don't know how clear you want that one. And we were talking about this has gone up extremely quick and very fast. And what goes up very fast could go down just as fast. And this was, I had my shorts from Bitcoin. Of course, you can go back and watch this video and go back and watch my last few videos if you do not believe what I'm saying here. Everything is, of course, public knowledge. Okay, it's all publicly recorded. But I was talking you through my Bitcoin and Ethereum shorts and this market crash. But there's a few little insights here that I want to expand upon and share. And I just want to say this. I'm going to spend probably the next 10 minutes analyzing the previous price action before we move on to now and what's looking at next. Why? Well, you can learn. What I'm going to be sharing with you here is key insights. Let's just say that you can truly understand and learn something here. So it all started, of course, prior to this massive drop to the downside. Not only had I took my Bitcoin and Ethereum shorts, but I started to do something even more crazy. And that was fully closing longs and going short with all my profits on what, you might ask, on long trades that I had open from $50,000. These are major swing longs. Here you can see on BingX, but the big ones here on Bybit, $79,000. I am fully closing longs and going short with no hesitation of all of this profits. You might think, well, I mean, you had to, of course, be a champion member for this, but you start to see that, like, when am I doing this? This is a very rare occasion, and you could say I had a feeling. I had a feeling something was up, but again, that was a good one, right? Fully closing my longs on Bitcoin and going short with all the profits. You might think, okay, wow, what about your altcoins? The same. Fully closing epic Amazing entries from $99 on Solana, which was the exact low of the move. No hesitation, fully closing these long trades. Want to see the same on Bonk, fully closing these swing longs, which are a massive profit. You go, the way that I'm normally trading is just like, oh, just trail up the stop loss. Let's wait for some weakness. But I'm not hesitating. I'm not waiting for the weakness here. I am using my intuition here, which is alerting me for a big drop, and I am going full on closing all of these trades, apart from my shorts, which Trump went down to nearly $1, by the way. But you can just truly see how important it is. If you want to short the high of the bull market, you've got to be aggressive when the time is right. And yeah, those were shorts from $126,000. Just want to play you a quick, this is just a quick 1-minute clip here. This is from an altcoin stream where this was just prior to taking the Ethereum shorts, but just take a very quick 1-minute listen to this one. I will be shorting Ethereum there if we can come up and make another high. That is the range high for me. That's a front runner to range high and the anchored view app. So it's either so weak it can't even hit that and it's down from here. I'm pretty confident in Ethereum drop. I would love to short Ethereum on a fake out of that high, to be totally honest with you. I'll be looking to take my shorts there on Ethereum down to new lows. So yeah, it's really not a bad short, right? From here all the way back down to here. At the very least, I think it can run for more. Really not a bad little trade. So, this is what you have to bear in mind. If Ethereum is dropping, my friends, all these altcoins I've just talked you through are all going to drop. Like, they're all going to drop. So some of these altcoins I thought I might have to wait 6 months for. Maybe I have to wait 6 days for. But, you get the idea. Like, if Ethereum does drop here, the altcoin market is going to continue to get wrecked. And it's just being wrecked year after year after year. No, you kind of got a little glimpse of my opinion there. I done an altcoin stream where I was just so bearish. This is where we were looking for that Ethereum short. If you looked carefully, what I was saying was we wanted to wait for a little fake out of the mini range high that we were in. And you all know, if you were watching my last video, we got the fake out of this mini range high. It was the most perfect short trade setup. Shorted there around $4,500. And have a look at that. The target, $3,500 Ethereum. Have a guess what Ethereum bottomed out at yesterday. Right there around $3,500. But I was saying there about my bearish outlook on Ethereum and how, truly for me, Ethereum was super bearish. Okay, I had my shorts on Bitcoin and I was leaning bearish, but Ethereum, I just became super bearish. This for me was just, this is looking bad. And if Bitcoin drops, amazing. If Ethereum drops, all of the altcoin is going down with it. And this is not just us looking for a little pullback. This is us looking for a full-on drop to new massive lows. And that is a major drop. And guess what? That brought down the whole of the altcoin market with it. Some altcoins down 80, 90% to the downside. And so when people are saying, wow, how did this happen? It's a story of Bitcoin dropping from resistance, negatively affecting Ethereum, and then that affecting the whole altcoin market in turn. And again, this was predicted, the big drop before it happened, and selling out all of my swing long trades, and not only selling out those swing long trades, but going short with all of the profits prior to that drop. That was pretty nice insights. I want to share one final thing here. This is from the Discord. And to make it easy to understand, again, this was before the drop. I'm short now and want a large drop. I haven't started doing the little meme coins here of shorting the top of the Bitcoin bull market, $126,000. Somebody saying, isn't there too many shorts? If you look at the order flow, there was a lot of shorts, but guess what? We were opening many large shorts. So this is a funny one, and this is where you have to understand. Funny is your opinion on it. But I remember this was the failed auction. This was the first failed auction. And what was there? There was lots of shorts opening in that failed auction. And I said, we're going to make another high and take out that failed auction before the drop, because all these shorts are not going to win. But what's the difference then between all those shorts opening, thinking we'll make a new low, and then seeing a lot of shorts opening and still thinking we're going to drop? Well, the biggest one is these are our shorts. That's the big difference there. Going to be full of shorts on that altcoin stream as it was. You can just see some of the comments here. Short and chill. Bitcoin crash from here will be nice. And I say this, I have a feeling today, let's call it $1 million feeling, telling me to open more shorts and close longs. Really, that is it. I had this is where people were, you look at some of these comments, intuition is a skill developed through time and dedication. It is inspiring to see someone who has mastered it. And this was my feeling, intuition, heart telling me this is going to drop fast. This is going to drop big. And I didn't even necessarily have the TA, the technical analysis, to back it up. It was truly this intuition. Well, in terms of the technical analysis, of course, I had that 1618 extension being hit. Okay, why I took that short, that 1618 extension being hit, the fake out of the failed auction, and the order flow looking a lot better. So there were a few technical reasons, but when you bring it back, you know, a lot of this honestly was back down to intuition. And I say this, I'm not confident in my trades because of a randomly inflated Ingo. I'm confident in my trades because of a proven track record, right? It's as simple as that. And I even say this, when it comes to the Elliott wave count, my Elliott wave count was showing another high to come in wave 4, but my heart is telling me the high is already in. And this is really where my intuition goes over the technical analysis sometimes. The technical analysis was pointing towards another high, but my experience, and it was that intuition and heart telling me we are ready for this crash. Okay, and I hope that's something that you can just kind of understand here, because you know, of course, I cannot teach, unfortunately, intuition. It's something that you gain through time and experience. But I will say this, the high that was put in here, $126,000, for me was extremely similar market conditions to the high that we put in, which I shorted at $69,000. So if you've been around in Chart Champions long enough, you will know the all-time high here from November 21. I shorted the all-time high in November 21 at $69,000. And that, of course, bear market all the way down to 15K. But the price action here was so similar, not only to the price action, but the market sentiment of what was going on here. Remember how we put in that first high, then we took it out, and then we got the drop? I just had a feeling in terms of this rejected off the 1618. If you remember, back in 2021, we rejected off the 1618 Fibonacci extension. Here, we rejected off the 1618 Fibonacci extension on a smaller scale, but nevertheless, we still rejected off that key fib. And for me, that is the technical analysis behind it, because that 1618 was the clear short. That gave us a real strong short trade. If we had broke that and moved through it, there were no real strong levels. And that was kind of like that feeling I had that if we're going to drop, it needs to drop now. Mix that in, of course, with the altcoins, you know, and we were due for this large crash to the downside. It is kind of as simple as that. And I just want to play again this is a quick 30-second clip here. I've got it on times 1.5 speed, but just so you can understand the confidence that I had going into this. Here we go. I short $126,000 Bitcoin. Today I post a reminder. I'm still short from $126,000 Bitcoin. Price was $122,000. Price rises 2% up to 123 point something thousand dollars. Now I get the comments. Daniel's wrecked. Daniel's getting counter traded. Daniel post bearish and it rises. My friends, this is the rise to short. You are with me, shorting this rise, or you're going to get stopped out. Longs are going to get stopped out. We will make new weekly lows, and the cycle repeats. People getting bullish once again on these little rises. I try and help you, but I know the majority of you listen, but man, these little people that... Anyway, I was getting a bit annoyed. This was the day. This was here. I just, you know, posted about the crash. I'm in my short trades. We saw this little rise to the upside, and man, my comments were filled. My comments were filled. Daniel's got wrecked. Daniel's missed long in the lows. Daniel's incorrect with his shorts. Ha ha ha, you're getting counter trade. I started to see all these comments, and honestly, this was my response. I was actually in the middle of 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, upper jab. I was on my boxing bag, and I saw these comments. I'm like, I got to do a quick video. And it's not often I do. That was posted on Instagram first, but anyway, and a little bit of fun, but. Man, you got the idea. I was saying, you know, these longs, I'm really trying my best to warn you of what's happening. And yeah, longs are going to get stopped out. Shorts are going to win. And it is exactly what happened. Bearish altcoin streams, bearish analysis, and closing all of my trades before, all of my long trades prior to the drop, and going in short with all of those profits. You know, I really have called this very nicely. And that's all I can say about that. Well, now we're going to start to look at what are we looking at next. Okay, what's up next for Bitcoin? Of course, we have a few things to bear in mind here. Right now, we're trading $112,000. Our good old CME closed 114K. So you have to understand we are going to have a bit here, quite a bit, of a CME gap. So you've got to be aware. Of course, we do not even have the Sunday close yet. We're on Saturday afternoon. So Sunday open, sorry, of the CME is a little bit away. That's going to be massive. I truly think that the CME Open on Sunday night, and of course New York Open the next day, is going to be absolutely massive. And I think that data is, of course, absolutely crucial. In terms of probabilities, what would I say is the highest probability from here? Well, my preference, let's say, would be a move down to fill that wick. I would love to see $100,000 taken out. For me, that does make a lot of sense. Of course, we have to understand that this is off the back as well of a stock market heavy pullback going into Friday night. Okay, and this is why you always have to be careful trying to long on Friday, because Trump loves to give these bits of bearish news on Friday just as markets close, right? And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, this whole market crashes because of Trump. There's no way anyone could have predicted this. No words, nothing to say there. Yeah. Apparently no one could have predicted it, right? Because it was all because of Trump. But we say, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. There were signs. Anyway, I believe that the New York Open is going to be crucial. But in terms of like, what's the biggest likelihood from here? I would say would be definitely preferable to see this wick filled, a move to take down and around below $100,000. I'm not so certain, though, that the altcoins are going to go down and fill their wicks. Why? Because some of these altcoins literally have 80% bounces, like extreme bounces. I can actually show you some of this going on right now if we come down to some of my latest posts here. But again, this is from the altcoin streams where we were predicting some of these epic retracements, right? We were taking our shorts on Ethereum in 2 days, 4,000 to 3,500. Goodness, from the same altcoin stream, Solana predicting down to $150. Have a guess where Solana bottomed out, by the way. We were predicting Link to come down for entry around $10. Have a guess where Link bottomed out at, by the way. And it's like some of these things, I was saying, you might need to wait some time for this, but with the Ethereum drop, this is going to be happening a lot quicker. And well, I mean, who would have thought that we would have got fills on Solana at $150? Well, if you were a champion, you would have been ready and waiting for it. That's all I can say. And I want to show you this as well. Severin absolutely smashing the long. Look at that, 168, not bad on Solana. But look at this on Link, from fills from $11. You know that this now is Link has gone up to $18, right? Link. Yes, it was $18. That is a bounce there of 130%. But from entry to target, look at that, 60, nearly 70% bounces. Like just crazy bounces that were able to be produced there by the analysis. Of course, Severin has his own analysis, but I was definitely sharing these entries with significant drops to come on the altcoin market. And what I'm saying here is, I'm not so sure that we get the wicks filled on the altcoins, because that is literally another 55%. They are massive bounces. It's much more likely to see the wick filled on Bitcoin, and of course that will fill a percentage of those wicks. But I do not think we need to go and see the whole wick filled, or at least in the short term. Again, this could be a medium long term play. That's out of the scope of this video. More on about the medium term here on Bitcoin. And for me, yeah, I would like to see that wick filled. I think it would make a lot of sense, especially if we're looking at this as a three-wave structure, which in my opinion, this whole thing has now become very three waves. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that is now probably, okay, it's all about probabilities, but a 1, 2, 3. And if this is 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, what does that mean? It means 3W, 3X, 3Y, 3X, 3Z, WX, YX, Z. Okay, that is what it means. That is the analysis of the Elliott waves. Of course, this could have been our start of a third, but naturally, this is an X wave, right? So we've now gone 3333333. So this for me, in terms of the Elliott waves, in terms of just what I feel is the highest likelihood, is another new low to come, which I am very interested in major buy opportunities. I do think that we got some epic levels to support, but of course, we always have to be aware, if this support around 96 doesn't hold, then $82,000 can come just as quick. I'm more than prepared to see an $82,000 Bitcoin, I tell you that. Which then, if we see $82,000, those wicks are going to get filled sooner or later, right? On those altcoins as well. So, you know, I don't want to say that right now that this is the start of the bear market. What I will say is there's no way I'm closing my short trades. That is what I will say. But in terms of, you know, when we talk about confirmation, this is not a confirmed start of the bear market. This is a very large move to the downside, a very profitable one, to be honest. But for me to get so bearish right now, well, we still have the potential of a bigger WXY, XZ underway. For me, it's a little bit too early. I'm actually very interested in longing the dips to come. And I want to say this very quickly because I know some people would have been wrecked, whether they weren't listening, whether they were not a subscriber, or maybe that you were and you just got overly bullish. You know, it happens. A lot of people will be absolutely wrecked. And so I want to just dedicate a minute or two here to address this. And I think, well, number one thing is you're not alone. Just know that if that offers some comfort, you're not going to be alone. There are going to be millions upon millions upon millions of people that have been absolutely wrecked. And it is sad. It is unfortunate. But that does not need to be your destiny in terms of you are not stuck in this. I know people that have been through these markets. I mean, personally, I've been through so many bull and bear markets. And I've been trading now, nearly, what we're in 2025. I started around 2012, you know, let's call it coming on, you know, nearly 20 years in the market, right? So, you know, of course, I started investing. I didn't start probably trading until a few years after that, but we can, let's say 15 strong years in the market. But nevertheless, I've been through these, but I also have seen people go through these markets, right? Like Chart Champions, we had a massive community. And I hear the stories of where people have blown up and liquidated and got full on wrecked, but they didn't give up. You know, they recharged, they started again. You know, they obtained the money from their day job or whatever, and they start to build up and go again. And they can't become successful traders. And what you need to understand is the lessons that you need to learn from this. Like if you blew up your account, if you just got absolutely wrecked, if you were not in any short trades, there's something to learn from this, right? And I know it's very easy to become depressed. I know there's either two reasons to be depressed. Number one, you're depressed because you've just got wiped out. Or depression number two is that you've missed the best long trades. You know, that wick onto $150 of Solana, that was a trade. I know, and some people are really sad that they missed it. And, you know, that's another reason. Oh my God, I missed this trade. How could I do? But anyway, right, you had to be pretty confident. But, you know, there's a few reasons why people are sad about this. But what I will say, learn from this experience. Also, make sure you're listening to the right people. All right, make sure you're listening to the right people. Was absolutely calling this market crash. My intuition was more than telling me that this is going to be getting a large drop to the downside prior to this happening. I couldn't have made it much clearer. Look at this. Like, you know, you read all this, combining with the fact I am literally, well, you saw the, but I can't find it in the Discord right now, but the fact that I was literally closing major swing longs from like miles down in the chart, it's $70,000 Bitcoin, that one from $50,000 Bitcoin, going all in on shorts with those long profits. Like, it's kind of major, right? And so I just say, yeah, it's like I said there, I really hope that you maybe can share and remember, you know, who was calling for this, because I know a lot of people were ultra bullish. and then so yeah, hopefully you can listen to that guidance. But yeah, final words and a little bit of a summary here will be this. I believe that we will come down and fill the wick. Okay, but right now here at 112.3, I would say there's no long or short trade. Why? Well, let's say you want a long here. Stop loss below the low. Let's say you target back up into this weekly cluster, 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Is this a good long trade? No, it's an awful risk to reward ratio. Well, let's think about the short. Short, target down to fill the wick, awful risk to reward ratio. You see here on the swing trades, you have no long and you have no short. You simply do not have a trade from here. You do have to what? Remain patient. You do not want to be trading these 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio trades. Look at this one. This one on Ethereum. What were we looking at here? This is like a risk to reward ratio. I think I hover it over in a second. 4-to-1, for example. Like, this is a strong risk to reward ratio. We know where we're wrong, we know where we're right. That even got defined even better, of course, after the fake out. It was more like a 12-to-1 risk to reward ratio trade. But nevertheless, like, you don't want to take these 1-to-1s. So you've got to remain a bit patient here. There's not a trade setup to be had right now. I believe fill the wick is the most likely. Okay, but I will say this: the absolute high importance of the CME Open on Sunday night and the New York Open on Monday. Could we get a full reversal going into Monday? Well, of course we could. Of course we could. But of course, that also is not very likely as it stands. But we need to keep analyzing the data, be on our toes. I'm prepared to see that, even though I'm not going to take a long here at 112. I did actually manage to catch a long on the lower this wick, by the way. But hey, I wouldn't enter a long here at 112.4. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, this I know has been a little bit of a, well, hopefully not a confusing video. I hope that you understand why the shorts were taken, how we were looking for this drop, why the drop happened, where it's likely to go next, which would be likely to fill the wick to give you a WXYXZ, but also understand the importance of the New York Open. Those factors together leading us right now to say patience is required. And I know not a lot of people like to hear that, but it is what it is. Patience is required. And I am more than happy to do more of a in the action live stream for you all. Right, so if you want me to analyze, not just going over what happened next, not just going over what's already happened, not just like, well, we need to wait for the data, but go live when that data is actually happening, I'm more than happy to do that for you. First of all, right, we do live trading on the website. But here on YouTube, I'm happy to do a live trading type stream, and I will do that. If you smash that like button, share out this video, right? I really mean it. These types of videos will help people. So if you can share out this video, give a like to the video. Let's say this video was easily going to get 10,000 views. If this video reaches just 5,000 likes, I will do a live trading stream for you. And that's one where we just go live in the action, analyze, take some trades, and it's all just real-time action. So it's a very exciting stream. Anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this nevertheless. I will just say one final time, for having a strong opinion on the start of the bear market, I am going to be waiting for the Monday New York Open. Okay, I will wait for that data because it is truly crucial. And then I will give you, of course, an update once I've got that information. But for now, you know what I'm looking at and how we were ready and waiting for shorting the top of the bull market. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you ever so much. And yeah, I hope I can offer you maybe at least some emotional assistance. Everything is going to be okay. Do not worry. Pick yourself back up. Learn from your lessons. And yeah. I really mean it. You will recover from this. Everything is okay. Cheers. Thank you, and goodbye.